everyone, it's Conrad from Conrad Rocks. I haven't talked to you in quite some time, and I have notes. Something really interesting has happened to me the last Saturday, actually. Well, the last few months, I've been going through a storm. And, you know, when you're going through that storm, you're so in the forest that you just don't, you can't see the trees or something like that. You're so caught up in your own mess that you wonder if you're really hearing from God. And God, He confirms through 2 or 3 different witnesses. And I've been going to church, people have been prophesying, saying things over me. I'm like going, oh my gosh, yeah, that's what I was praying about this morning. Anyway, Saturday, let me start out by saying this. You guys remember the book, The God Chasers? Oh, everybody goes, oh, it's a great book. You've got to read this book. Well, back in October of 1996, I'm saying it again, God split the pulpit in 2 at Christian Tabernacle in Houston, Texas. Tommy Tinney was there. It inspired him to write the book, The God Chasers. Now, when God split the pulpit in 2, the pastor was reading 2 Chronicles 7:14. If my people are called by my name, that one. Here, I'll just read it for you. I didn't know I was going to do this, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it again. I just don't have it memorized. If my people, which are called by my name, he's talking to Christians here, well, it's Old Testament, but if my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven, will forgive their sin, and will heal their land. Well, awesome. That was a very best-selling book, but nobody really did anything. It's just like, oh, it's a nice book. God was saying something huge. And look at the mess we are in now, man. God was saying something Saturday, too. Let me tell you this. My sister-in-law, she woke up with the scripture, Jeremiah 29:11. I guess I'm going to have to read that one, too. Now, this is about the Jews in the 70-year Babylonian captivity. You remember God was upset with them and says, you're going to go to Babylon for 70 years. And then he's talking to Jeremiah. He's saying, tell these people this. For thus saith the Lord, verse 10, that after the 70 years be accomplished at Babylon I will visit you and perform my good work toward you in causing you to return to this place. Now she heard the very next verse, which is the popular verse. For I know the thoughts that I think toward you, saith the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end. Now why is this significant? If you keep up on my blog, you probably know why I'm talking about this. Saturday morning, I heard that scripture. It's brought to my attention. Saturday night, I'm at the Red Box. I'm looking for a movie. And the movie Soul Surfer was there, so I thought, I'm going to watch that. So I'm watching this film, Soul Surfer. And in the middle of this movie, somewhere at some point, Carrie Underwood looks at the girl. She had been attacked by a shark, and her arm was eaten off in one swift attack. Carrie Underwood quotes Jeremiah 29:11 to this girl. Now, if you're not familiar with the movie, I don't want to really spoil it for you, but it's at Redbox. You should have seen it by now. It's really worth the buck. She was an aspiring surfer, just going straight to the top and surfing, and then she had this freak accident. And she even quotes later, I can do all things through Christ. It's a Christian-type film. It's got Christian undercurrent to it. Anyway, so Carrie Underwood quotes this scripture, Jeremiah 29:11. to the girl, the surfer girl. And I'm like, wow, that's kind of cool. I'm still watching the movie. I get a text from my bro. He goes, Conrad, you've got to watch Soul Surfer. It rocks. And I texted him back. I'm like, I'm watching it right now. I started thinking, whoa. So the next day I found out my cousin watched it at the same time with her youth group. Found out later, none of us was orchestrated, and then another friend that I don't really know too well. So there's 4 groups of us that all watched the same movie at the same time when the Spirit was saying Jeremiah 29:11. Now, coincidence? Coincidence that one scripture would be in the movie? Coincidence that we watched it all at the same time on the same night without even orchestrating it beforehand? I don't know. Now, one of the things I was thinking about that film, what is God saying? Let's read that scripture again. These are the Babylonian captivity. If you remember a few months ago in May, I had a vision during worship of the horse coming out of the black clouds with the black lance before the tornadoes, and Revelation 18:4 was the scripture that came with that, and I guess I'll read that till I get to. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, "Come out of her, my people, and be not partaker of her sins, and that you receive not of her plagues." Now that was talking about Babylon is fallen. So I'm thinking that they might be related there. Maybe it has something to do with the message of the movie too, because the message of the movie is pretty awesome. She was on her way to the top as a surfer chick, she's competition. This thing destroyed her. It looked in her carnal thinking. In her carnal thinking, it destroyed her. But if you watch the film, you'll see how what the devil meant for evil, Genesis 50:20, hindsight's always 50/20. What the devil intended for evil, God turns around for good. Watch the film. It really rocks. Now, I was thinking of this scripture where Paul says, "I will boast in my infirmities." 2 Corinthians 12:9 and 10. And he said unto me, "My grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Most gladly, therefore, will I rather glory in my infirmities, that the power of Christ may rest upon me. Therefore I take pleasure in infirmities, in reproaches, in necessities, in persecutions, in distresses for Christ's sake, for when I am weak, then I'm strong." So you'll notice that this fits really well with the movie. Her weakness, the thing that looked like it was going to destroy her career, God turns around and uses in a much bigger, greater way. There's a movie made about it, right? So check out the film. Also now, on a prayer walk this morning, I was praying, and I heard in the Spirit, "Woe to the man that makes his right arm flesh." And I don't know if that's exactly a scripture, but I did look up a few scriptures that said, here's one, Jeremiah 17:5. "Thus saith the Lord, Cursed be the man that trusteth in man, and maketh flesh his arm, and whose heart departeth from the Lord." So when we trust in our flesh, and notice her arm was bitten off by the shark, God is saying something, man. So if you're in these circumstances and the shark has bitten off your arm and it looks like your call is devastated in your history, you are toast, watch this movie. See what God can do with your infirmity. Guys, let me know what you think, okay? Till we meet again, dig deeper. Go higher.